Hey everybody, this is Joey and I am founder of Universal CPA Review. Today we're going to talk a little bit about CPA evolution. So I know a lot of you might be taking the exams in 2023 and you're debating whether or not you should take certain exams in 2023 or wait to take certain exams until the exams change in 2024. And the last thing that I want to see you do is psych yourself out. Okay, so for those of you who are still unfamiliar with the exam changes, basically what's happening here is we are axing the BEC exam in 2024. All right, well, I say we're axing it, we're actually amending it. So what is going to happen is the AICPA is now breaking this BEC exam out into 3 further exams. So before you start panicking, this doesn't mean that you need to pass all 3 of these additional exams. It means you just need to pass one. So this is going to be what's referred to as the discipline exams. So with that being said, the other 3 exams, audit, FAR, and regulation, will still all be required in order to pass the CPA exams. Okay, so for the last couple of decades, the CPA exam has had 4 total exams, right? It was made up of audit, BEC, FAR, and regulation. So now we have 3 core exams with audit, FAR, and regulation, and we have 3 discipline exams where you only need to pass 1. So those 3 exams consist of ISC, BAR, and TCP. So ISC stands for Information Systems and Controls. This is going to relate more so with information technology related content. Okay, so for those of you who are IT specialists, this might be the discipline exam for you. BAR, sometimes known as BAR, kind of like FAR, stands for Business Analysis and Reporting. Okay, so this goes hand in hand with the FAR exam, only now we're going to be shifting some more of the challenging topics in the current FAR exam over to the BAR exam. And for those of you who love tax, the TCP exam might be for you. Okay, so this is going to consist of some of the more challenging reg concepts in the current exam that are now getting shifted over to the TCP exam. Okay, so this is all amongst other changes that are coming as well. Okay, so the BEC exam that is current today is getting spaced out amongst some of these 3 new discipline exams, right? So we're not just wiping away all that content altogether. So for the purposes of this video, I want to talk about the FAR exam and some of the changes that are coming in 2024. So there is this common question that we're seeing where people want to know, is the FAR exam getting easier? Right? You might be asking, OMG, should I even take the FAR exam this year? Is the FAR exam getting easier? Should I wait to take FAR in 2024? And my TLDW version of this answer is yes, the FAR exam is getting easier-ish, but everybody hold your horses. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't take FAR in 2023. Look, the CPA exam is still the CPA exam, and the FAR exam is still going to be testing you on some of the most challenging financial reporting topics out there. Even if you don't plan on a career in financial reporting or corporate finance, the AICPA still needs you to have a fundamental understanding of financial reporting concepts that are outlined in the FASB literature. Okay, so for those of you who are planning on a career in financial reporting, or if this is second nature to you, the BAR exam might be the best selection for your discipline exam when it comes time to sit for one of those 3. Okay, so let's take a look at the current FAR exam and we'll address some of the changes that are coming. Okay, so the 2023 CPA exam FAR blueprint has 4 content areas. And we have an outline of what those content areas are and the respective allocation of weight when it comes to grading for these sections. Okay, so conceptual framework, standard setting, and financial reporting, that's content area 1. Area 2 is select financial statement accounts. Select transactions is area 3. And then we got state and local governments in area 4. Okay, so in the new blueprint, we have 3 content areas, not 4. Okay, so I'm the first one to say that you shouldn't be trying to wrap your head around all of these blueprints. That's what a good CPA review course is supposed to interpret for you. Okay, so Universal CPA Review takes all of the CPA exam blueprints and we basically dissect them. And then we try to go the extra mile by putting together a review course that allows you to follow this and systematically approach it. Otherwise, you're just going to be trying to memorize a bunch of words, and that's not the way to pass the CPA exam. Okay, so the first thing I want to point out when comparing the 2023 blueprint with the 2024 blueprint is this content area 1. Okay, so it was previously referred to as conceptual framework, standard setting, and financial reporting. Now it's just going to be called financial reporting. Okay, so this includes a lot of the same concepts that are reported under the conceptual framework, standard setting, and financial reporting content area in the current, aka 2023 CPA exam. But we are trimming a lot of the fat here, and we are also going to increase the weight that is getting allocated to financial reporting topics in the FAR core exam come 2024. Okay, so we see that the 25 to 35% allocation now increases to 30 to 40%. Okay, so the next change we see is in Area 2. Okay, so this is previously referred to as Select Financial Statement Accounts. This is now referred to as Select Balance Sheet Accounts. Okay, so we have an emphasis here on balance sheet related topics. So what does that mean for other areas such as income statement related topics? Thinking about revenue recognition. Okay, so that is actually getting moved over to Content Area 3, which is what we are going to now talk about. Okay, so Content Area 3 is staying pretty much the same. Okay, although we're going to be shuffling some of those income statement related topics to this content area, they're still going to be tested for the most part in the FAR core exam. Okay, so select transactions, still called select transactions. We're shuffling up the weight just a hair, as this now is going from 20 to 30% to 25 to 35%. Okay, so the big one that we see is state and local governments that is previously tested in the 2023 FAR exam. All right, I know a lot of you cannot stand government accounting. Okay, so the good news for the 2024 FAR exam is that you theoretically don't need to ever take an exam with government accounting if you don't want to take the bar exam as your discipline exam. Okay, so state and local governments is getting moved from the FAR exam blueprint over to the bar exam. Okay, so again, that's one of the disciplines. It's not required that you take the bar exam, but you can still select it if you find that financial reporting topics are more so your cup of tea. Okay, so you might be asking, well, what are the topics that are getting moved from the 2023 FAR exam to the 2024 new bar exam? Right? In other words, what are the topics that I don't need to know to pass the required core FAR exam in 2024? Okay, so these are some of the topics that are getting shuffled over from FAR to the bar exam in 2024. So we have advanced revenue recognition, we have business combinations and consolidated financial statements, derivatives and hedge accounting, financial statements of employee benefit plans. We got the big bad government accounting. We got intangible assets and goodwill with indefinite lives. Okay, so that could be a little bit tricky. We got leases, okay, specifically sales back leases for lessor accounting. All right, then we got non-for-profit accounting and stock compensation. Okay, so for those of you who've taken the FAR exam at this point, you might be familiar with what these topics look like and their overall level of difficulty. Now, everybody's different and they process and understand information differently, but I can say without a doubt that these are some of the more challenging FAR exam concepts in the current CPA exam. So if you're just getting started from scratch and maybe you haven't even started taking the exams yet, I would definitely consider taking the FAR exam in 2024 rather than 2023. Okay, but with that being said, while these are some of the more challenging topics that are getting shifted over to the 2024 bar exam, that doesn't mean that the new FAR core exam is going to be easy. Okay, so all of the remaining FAR concepts are still getting tested in 2024 for the FAR core CPA exam. Some of the ratio analysis questions, specifically from the BEC exam, are getting shifted over into the new 2024 FAR core exam. Okay, and there is still going to be an emphasis on new data and technology information. Okay, so the AICPA wants to make sure that we are remaining relevant. All right, so with all that being said, if you're in the thick of it and maybe you are studying for FAR or retaking FAR, my consensus is to keep your head down and keep working towards passing FAR before 2024. Pass as many of these exam sections as you can before 2024. There are so many advantages to passing these exams before the exams change in 2024 that we're going to talk about in our next video.